What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking.
What's up, everyone? We're here for another great episode of Next Level Thinking. It's your host, Chris Holmes, giving you great value stories and much more. And today I have my special guest by the name of
Jeremy Big J Rizzle.
I hear you from that dirty South, Houston, H-Town. I want to make sure.
Yeah, Houston, baby. Third Ward, Texas. All black, a few Mexicans. You know how it is.
Cool. So go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to dive right and have some fun with this.
Yeah, you know, I'm an independent artist. I rap. I'm all things creative, food, got a good business mind. I'm woke with the culture. I understand group economics. So we can get into whatever. We can span this conversation wherever you want to go.
Cool. So I want to kind of go to the origin kind of story. So how did you, matter of fact, let's back up. Houston, rep your home. So tell a story about like your upbringing and like the story behind that so we can build up with you in the storyline.
Yeah, so I grew up in Third Ward, Nelson Park area. You know, everybody know the trade us in Houston. It's the hood just like in any other city. But I had a lot of good OGs that looked out for me, man. Kept my nose clean. I got into sports and music at a young age. I actually got signed to a label as a teenager, and I was in that group until I was 21. And it taught me a lot. So, you know, ended up going to film.
So who was like some of your major influences while growing up in the area? Because, you know, sometimes people be like, my grandma, or like they looked up to a certain artist. So like everybody was influenced with somebody. So who was some of your influences coming up?
Well, some of my influences were just really neighborhood people. Honestly, my big brother, he was a hooper, but he was smart too. So he kept me into the books and showed me the value of going to college. You know, my mama for sure, she was a grinder. She was a hustler. Hey, she was going.
Where you got that from? That hustling mentality from mom.
Yeah, so really just my whole little neighborhood, man. There, like I say, I had some real good OGs, man, that, you know, they looked out for me and they forever embedded in me.
Nice. And I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of times it is where it starts at home from like your grandparents or your OGs or like homeboys. I mean, you can go down the list because you never know because everybody you can learn from. Even when they make mistakes, you can learn from that lesson as well so that you can do even better in your own kind of lifetime. And that's what it's all about. So with that said, were you already doing kind of music savvy and much more during your high school or middle school, or was you just already just tell a story and background on that?
Yeah, so actually like 8th grade is when I first started getting serious in music. It was a local label. They got a distribution deal from Universal. They had 2 records, and so I was rocking with them for a little while, and then one of my partners' cousin wanted to get into it, and so he ended up getting a distribution deal as well for Third Nation ENT. And so I was with a group called Certified, and we was making a little bit of noise in the underground circuit. We got on the Magnifico's car tour. We opened up for some big artists like Waka Flocka, Rick Ross.
I know that was a good feeling.
Yeah. So, but you know, members going to jail, janky promotions, all that stuff kind of just tore everything down. So.
Awesome. So I want you to educate the people, like, what is distribution? Because I know, like, me and you know that, but I want you to educate the audience on this because I know there's going to be younger artists coming on, probably looking at this video, trying to figure out where to go. So I want you to go ahead and take the lead and educate the audience on this.
So distribution is basically a bigger company taking your product and getting it to a wide variety of people. So, you know, you could probably just afford to pay for marketing to get your song played in Houston, but a distribution deal allows you to get it played in Atlanta, Miami, New York, LA, and it just opened up different avenues for you.
Nice. And like, how did you get, I guess, notice onto that? Was it just like you already creating the music and just caught somebody's attention and the connections just went from there? So give us a little bit of background story on that.
Yeah, really just performing at block parties in different hoods. In Third Ward, we had a huge block party every Easter and Mother's Day. The town stayed with that, you know, in the bottoms, and then going into the CUNY homes and doing their stuff, going into South Park, doing block parties off MLK, you know, Slab Sundays. So, you know, man, I just caught the eye of a couple people with some money. They put it
That's always good.
Yeah.
But now you really describe the hustle, because a lot of people kind of skip that and put in the groundwork of doing all these venues or even small events, because each one of them adds, you know, the momentum to it. And a lot of times, especially with the internet, I think like a lot of people get comfortable and just want to upload the internet and go. So to the artists who just do that, what would you tell them to encourage them to do a lot more of the groundwork as well? Because of course the internet made it so easy, but you still got to put the physical work into it as well.
Well, that's what I would say, man. The internet has thousands and thousands and thousands of people doing the same thing that you're doing. So you can rise to the top of that, you know, with just one viral song. But most artists make their bones from getting into the ears of DJs and the people. And the people really gravitate to live shows that bring more fandom, and I think it builds longevity. You know, an artist that I look up to as far as the music business with Currency. You know, Currency wasn't a huge artist, but he just kept being consistent with his fan base and staying in the streets, staying in the smaller venues, appealing to his niche crowd, and he built something good with that life, you know, where he can live for the rest of his life just making music.
I completely agree with that. It's all about building relationships with the people, and just keep doing that, building relationships. It just connects to the next person. So I want to follow with this question. Is like the importance of holding on to those relationships, giving value, and not burning your bridges. Because, you know, some people, they get to a certain time like, nah, I'm good. I don't need you no more. Not just being completely transparent, because that's how some people do. But I want to get your feedback on that.
Man, I'm a bridge builder, man. I'm not big on burning bridges. Even if I don't need what you have right now, somebody I know might need that. You know, and I'm a big fan of lifting as we climb. Like, we got to be able to. I like to have a network, you know, of people where if you needed something like photography, I know a guy who took pictures for me 3 years ago, did a good job. I could plug you with him. You know, anything. So I think, especially in music, having a network, you know, is always important that you can go back to and say, hey, let's work together on this. You know, do different projects together.
And you said network. That kind of reminds me, I think of like group economics. And it's funny how like some of my past guests have mentioned or touched on this as well, but it's all, to me, I feel like the same thing. Like you got to have an economy like in music or in business, because each person's going to keep connecting. Like you said, or I know a person for photos, or I know a person for, you know, your investments, or I know a person for your insurance, or I know a person who has like great equipment, like for the mics and speakers. And when you build a community, everybody's just, you know, getting fed. Kind of reminds me a bit of like I know you've heard like the Black Wall Street. Yeah, that's something I feel like we were very powerful, and we need to get back to that. So, going on a really deep subject, how do you feel about that when it comes like to Black Wall Street, and how we do that in this present time?
So that was one of my big missions, man, to kind of bring our dollar back to our community. And so, you know, every other minority community have their town. You got Chinatown, you got Little Mexico, you got Little Italy, and all these different places, and you got Italian banks, Jewish banks, and all of this. And we have the money. We clearly have the buying power. What is like $2 trillion of buying power in the Black community? We can if we could just funnel in our resources and then start with a few key things, and it'll take some people not making as much money as they could, you know, in the long run for the betterment of the community. But banking is the biggest thing, man. We got 6 Black billionaires in the United States, and 2 of them are hedge fund guys. You can start small banks to give people loans. That then it leads into real estate. So now if we have a Black bank that we could go to get a mortgage, Now you got black homeowners. You know what I'm saying? You got black property owners and things of that nature, and we can, you know, keep everything in house as a community because we have everything. You know, we just don't use it.
And it's time for us to start using it and take advantage of our resources. And I'm glad that you brought that out because a lot of people need to hear that or just be charged on to that because we're facing constantly on a daily basis the stereotype, and then of course I hate to say it, but they put us like on this lower level or like expectations of where we should or are able to achieve. We can achieve anything if we put our mind to it, and we need to start putting our mindsets to that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, for sure. We do need to
being transparent. What do you think is like the main causes that prevents us or slow us down? Now, I know this is one of those subjects that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but I like to provide a lot of value on both sides. So what is the things that's slowing us down to actually reach to that turning point where we can come to a community and start building?
I think selfishness is the biggest thing. You know, we have a me mentality. Like, how is it benefit me? Or, you know, how can I get ahead in this? How can I win this business situation? You know, I don't think we have a lot of people who are willing to come together and be a conglomerate where we all take a little loss for the bigger gain, you know, and that's what we're missing, that sacrifice for our culture.
Yeah, and there's so much you can attain more when you work together. Like I always tell people, like you don't have a Fortune 500 company built off of one person. It comes to like people come together. Yes. So during because you mentioned the hustle from like building the momentum and getting distribution and much more.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of go into the college level. So I think you came from like where I was, like Sam Houston. Did I hear that right?
Yep. I went to Sam Houston. I pledged Omega South 5, so you know I was kicking it. I was big.
Right. Go ahead, get it. Go ahead. You know you want a song. Let me play that song. If I play that song right now, you're
hey, no, straight up. So yeah, man, I think college was. Yeah. Hey, college is a big part of my development, man. Like I said, I come from Third Ward, and you know I honestly hadn't been too far out of there. I went to school in River Oaks and played football, but I hadn't really been outside of the South Side that much until I went to college. You know, and then after I pledged and got active, I started going out of state and doing different things and meeting people and really learning how to network, you know. And so, you know, any organization you get in, you get what you put out of what you put in, you get out of it. And you really use the resources, you know, that those organizations provide, like at those national and district conventions and stuff, man. It could really build you as a person, and especially if you want to get into business. So.
Yes, I completely agree. I can relate to that myself because a lot of the people at Sam Houston, I ended up doing their weddings or like they needed some video work in the future for their own business. So there's a lot of value when it comes to network. But I want you to go even more depth on that because a lot of people, I feel like not enough people network because you have people from different countries. Yeah. Professors literally right here where you can ask questions. You are, it's like a safety net. Now, I'm all about being outside the comfort zone, but for most people, it's like a safety net where you can be yourself and kind of venture out and ask different things. So I want you to answer on your behalf of like the importance of networking at these universities and building relationships and going further on that. So
from my experience, man, most of the people who listen to my music are from Sam Houston.
See,
you know what I'm saying? Like my fan base is Sam. Me and my guy I do music with, EJ. He went to Sam too. EJ Reed. Did a show a few years ago in Houston, and it was like 250 people at the show, and maybe like 180 of them was from Sam Houston. Right. So it's, you know, it's important, bro. When you're in college, that's the time to do all of your entrepreneurial, all of it, because it's like you there with everybody. We all trying to, you know, we really want to support each other. Does it feel good to see somebody from your school, you know, be successful? You know, if you're not a hater, you know, it like what seems. Yeah, even Pete saying PJ in the NFL, I get live, even though he an alpha, you know. I still get live out there. So shoes, you know.
I think that's what's up. And like that, like you said, like the great value of connecting and taking advantage of these opportunities and this policy. And like you were saying, like most of your fan base came from Sam Houston. I'm not gonna lie, from my own personal experiences, I'm laughing myself and pay it off. I'll wake up super early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, either hit on Instagram, search the hashtag, you already know it's SSHU, see what profiles I can find, start DM, or look on Twitter for the popular on, what's used on the hashtag, the same thing, just connect with people. And you probably had the same experience I had, walking through the campus yards and be like, wait a minute, ain't you, don't use the name, you be like, I don't know your real name, but I think ain't your username this.
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like after college and of course going back into the real world, I feel like everything's part of the real world because it's different stages. Like what was going on next after that?
So took a little break from music because my mom passed in 2012 and I had just had my son at the time, so it was just a lot going on trying to graduate. And I quickly went into I need to make money mode. You know what I'm saying? And so
nowadays.
Yeah, bro. So just hitting the job market hard. It was a little struggle through 2013, but once I started working and getting going, get myself on my feet, I started being more smart with my money. I made some investments early on. Like I invested my refund actually. My last
y'all need to hear that. Because a lot of people like to splurge it on some other stuff.
Yeah, nah, man. So when my mom passed, I was like, I didn't get left anything. So she had insurance, so we was able to pay for the funeral and all that. We didn't have to sell fish plates, but she didn't leave me with nothing. And so when I got my refund, I was like, man, I could go tomorrow, but let me invest this and see, have something for my son if I go the next day. And I invested in. I'm a finance major. Mm-hmm. So I invested into a couple of companies, a biofuel company that was turning potatoes into diesel fuel. I invested into Sprint at the time. They were like $2.80 because they were tanking. But I just did research because, like I say, finance, did some market research and seen that a Japanese company was about to purchase. It's a bank in Japan that's kind of like their Federal Reserve. And, if they buy something, they're going to make everybody in that country use it. So I invested in Sprint. The Japanese company bought them. The stock went from like $2.80 to $10. And so I made about $17,000 off that one transaction. And I just kept it from there, man. That was my mindset. Build something to leave for my kid if I was to go tomorrow.
Yes, and it sounds like your kid was your strong. Like I like a lot of speakers, but like especially Eric Thomas said that's your why. So some people might have a child as their why or the neighborhood, but that sounds like the focal point of your why, which keeps you going. And so like we all need to find like your own purpose and your why to keep going because you're gonna be challenged by life. You're gonna get some kind of adversity somewhere here. Like man, I did not see that coming. Like why ain't anybody warn me? Like I didn't know myself. I'm surprised it's like you.
So cool. I ended up getting back into the music in like 2015. Me and EJ, we started a collective, House of Raps, and we just been pushing it. We put on a mini tour with some dope artists from Sound. Came through and did some stuff for us at South by Southwest. I show in Houston. We did one in Toronto, LA, Atlanta. So then I moved out here to Atlanta a couple years ago.
Cool, that's what's up. Now I got to touch on this. I think you collabed recently with this music video with somebody I think we know about. Like, is it like Beat King? Like, help me correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Tell the audience a little bit about that.
So man, I got Big. It's out on all streaming platforms. A video on YouTube featuring Beat King. We my buddy was like, man, you need to make a song for big people, bro. Like, he said, it's time for you to drop a song for big people. And so originally, I was reaching out to B King to make the beat, and then I was gonna get Maxo Cream on it. And so it was gonna be made by B King, a big dude, Maxo Cream, me, just a whole big dude song.
Represent for the fellas.
But he was, man, B King was hard to get in touch with, and then Maxo Cream, his price had just went up. He got a major deal with management and everything from Rock Nation, so he kind of outpriced me. And so my one of my high school friends is June James. He a super producer now, and I hit him up like, "Hey, bro, you got any beats? Let me hear something." And he was like, "You shoot me the bread and come through," because he's living in Atlanta. And so I pulled up on him. I was like, man, I got the song that I wrote for big dudes, but I kind of wanted B King to make it because his 808s be hitting. Then he was like, he said, well, let me hear the song and I might can come up with something. So he made it, and then I finally got in contact with B King and sent it to him. And he was like, man, I'm rocking with it. Show love and jumped on it.
I know you was like, wait a minute, you gonna do what?
So yeah, man, and so it was up from there. Then I reached out to Sheridan to help me coordinate the video because I wanted a plus size model thing because the song is really about embracing being big and luxury. You know, I ain't bougie, but I appreciate nice things. You know what I'm saying? So,
see how you put that? I ain't bougie, but I like nice things. It's being real.
Yeah, you know, and so we got that going because she had the lingerie line and she's a great coordinator. She helped me get the models and we had the whole list set up. She really helped make the vision.
It was my invite. I'm messing with you.
So yeah, man, it was a good time, bro. It was a good time. B King came through, did his thing, showed love. So yeah, it was festive.
Nice. I'm glad that turned out pretty well. So with all this going, like, what's some like the future plans you got going on? You got the momentum you using all this. What's going on? Let me hear.
So I just dropped another single, Jump. I got a couple more in the chamber. One with this dope female artist from Houston named Fida MC. It's really raunchy, but it's perfect for the summertime. I'm looking to throw some events. I got a craft drink event that I'm gonna do here in Atlanta later in the summer. Just craft cocktails, craft wine, beer, and everything. And then I'm looking to bring it to Houston on a bigger scale. So just that, man, and collabing with different people, marketing, you know, just really hitting the streets and getting music out there.
I feel you. One thing I am realizing through this whole interview is you are repping Houston. You are low. I'm giving you props for that.
Man, that's my ultimate goal is to take everything I'm learning here in Atlanta as far as the music business. They've been successful for 30 years now, breaking artists and taking independent artists and putting them into great positions. And so I want to take what I learned here and bring it to Houston to really help because we have a lot of talent in Houston, man, and in Dallas, you know, and just Texas here, we just don't have the setup for it. And so, and I'm really learning that out here, so I'm excited.
Cool. As we come to like closing things up, I want you to, before I do my usual traditional closeout, tell the audience something important when it comes to like money management, because I think a lot of times we like to we get it and obviously splurge out. So if you can kind of help the audience, or even like an upcoming artist with that, go ahead and drop them those jewels.
Man, a budget is your best friend. A lot of the times it's not the amount of money we have, but where we allocating the money to.
Wait a minute, you gotta say that again. No, you ain't gonna say that one time. I think they probably didn't hear the first time. Say it one more time.
It's not about the amount of money you have, but where you allocating the money to. Okay. So be tight on your budget. Be lean in places that are discretionary, like you're eating out. You know what I'm saying? You're drinking, your vices. Lean on that and heavy on your savings so you can do. I'm not telling you to save, stockpile all your money, but make sure you have a budget for what you want to do. If you know you need marketing and it's going to cost $500, make sure you save enough money where you can spend $500 and it won't hurt you.
Exactly, because it's an investment in yourself. It's not really a loss.
It's not.
This is like a flat mindset. So we on that same frequency when it comes to that. So now for the traditional closeout, tell the audience where they can find you, and then leave us a closing statement, and then we're out of here.
Man, y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Big J Rizzle. I got the website coming soon. It'll drop later this summer. It'll be bigjrizzle.com. So just be on the lookout. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, man, and let's connect.
Awesome. Closing statement. Close us out.
All right, man. So save your money, enjoy life, and keep love, man. Don't be selfish.
Hey, you heard it from the man himself. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always, as we bring great guests to help you elevate, take it to the next level. Make sure you share, subscribe, and much more. And again, in case you missed it, so you hear on replay, I have my special guest by the name of
Big J.
Awesome. Now we're out. You make sure you subscribe and share, because we got some more great guests and great value. Take it to the next level. Peace.